What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Got an NFL fact here for you that I think you're all gonna enjoy. You know what time it is.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yes, thank you, obligatory Jim Mora playoffs clip. We have made it to the playoffs. And talk about a wild card. This card was about as wild as you can get. From historically exciting finishes to significant stats and facts being recorded. So without further ado, let me tell you that this video, unlike the rest of them that I make throughout the season, covering one game, one team, or one player per video, is gonna be a little different, as we're gonna be combining them all into one jam-packed playoff palooza, playing all of the hits in this one, as I'm aiming to round up the wildness of this card and give you the straight facts and stats. Just a heads up. So sit tight, buckle up, enjoy, and let us see how wild this card really was this weekend and Monday. First off, we'll start in Chicago at Soldier Field, and boy did they have a fight on their hands. It was quite the battle, with the Packers dominating early, winning some of those battles going into halftime, leading 21-3, and then even adding to their score in the second half as well. And from there, the route seemed to be on, as the luck of the green was golden. From Green Bay with Love, who was out there wheeling and dealing to his dudes. And from the jump, the ball just seemed to be bouncing the Packers' way every single time. Then all of that was even more compounded as the Bears going bold but failing, starting out 1 for 5 on 4th down, and ultimately ending on the night 2 for 6. But the final and most crucial one to give them that 2 for 6, coming with 5:37 left in the game, them at that point still down 11 and a need to have it mowed. The Bears and Caleb Williams came through, converting the 8 yards needed by getting 27 to Rome Odunze down the sideline. Caleb Michael Jordaning that throw, and if you freeze frame it right here, you can see that pose is pretty spot on to the Air Jordan, and that's pretty cool. But talk about a lucky strike, cause he smoked him on that one. But then again, who really needs luck when you've got that killer instinct skill? Caleb Williams, like the madman he is, shredded the Packers defense all night, passing for 361 yards, which is the most passing yards by any Chicago Bears quarterback in a playoff game ever, which every single one was needed for the Bears, who already had the most wins this season after trailing at some point in the final 2 minutes of a game. With 6 such games, just came out with their 7th, getting the win and the advancement to the next round. And no wonder they've been so clutch, because they have experience on their side, both ways. As a little interesting side story to their success is that before the season, they added 2 key pieces: Joe Thuney via trade from the Chiefs and Grady Jarrett in free agency. Those two, other than being top-notch offensive and defensive linemen, have a history. One that goes back to the infamous 28-3 Super Bowl comeback, with Joe Thuney being on the New England Patriots and Grady Jarrett being on the Atlanta Falcons. And then Ben Johnson playing 4D chess and training camp, using them as a resource and having them both share with the team their unique perspectives from that game. And so, with that added extra knowledge, the Bears have seemingly used it to their advantage in these late game scenarios. That lesson being that just because you're up, or more often than not, in their case, down, it ain't over until the clock hits 0. And although the Packers won many a battle, the Bears won the war in this one. Spurred on by a touchdown pass from Caleb Williams to one Olamide Zaccheaus, and topped off and finished by DJ Moore and his 25-yard touchdown grab off a pass from Caleb Williams to ultimately finish him off. Caleb, with this win and his Week 16 victory, becomes the first Chicago Bears QB to beat the Packers twice in a season since 1991, when Jim Harbaugh took him down twice, two-time touchdown in him, but without breaking any bones. Man, that's a throwback. Madden 2005, anyone? So it's quite possible that the ownership stake has been revoked, now that the Packers' previous landlord has moved on.
For the score!
And now, under the new ownership of Ben Johnson, the Bears are becoming good, getting even better, and have now bested the Packers twice this season. And the crazy thing about all of it, in the 3 games played against each other this season, the Packers took 106 offensive snaps while leading, and the Bears a whopping 0 offensive snaps that they took with a lead.
0.
And they still came out 2-1. And if Ben Johnson is any indication,
there's a rivalry that exists between these two teams. I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
The rivalry stands firm in bitter hatred and has a little extra juice now, which will be fun to watch moving forward. And if you were to ask, only seeing the box score showing the 4 touchdowns he threw, wait, did Jordan win? No, love lost between these two. Wow, what a verbal gymnastic that sentence was. But I think we landed it. The Packers, though, I must add before we move on, also making some history per Tom Pelissero himself, as Darian Kennard is the first offensive lineman in NFL history to have a catch, break 2 tackles, fumble the ball, and record a 15-yard punt on the same play. Very impressive. And while we're on the subject of impressive and quarterbacks, let us quickly take a look at a pretty good one. Brock Purdy, that is, who broke his tie with the legendest of the land and the coolest of them all, Joe Montana, for the most fourth-quarter game-winning drives in the playoffs by a 49er. Montana, known for his late-game playoff heroics, from throwing the catch to Dwight Clark, all the way to the John Candy-inspired drive against the Bengals in the Super Bowl, ending with a touchdown pass to John Taylor, but those were only 2 of his overall 3, where Brock Purdy just got his 4th of his still young career. But now, we'll see if he can earn himself a shot at doing it like Joe Montana did in the brightest lights known to the gridiron, the Super Bowl. Because last time Brock Purdy made it, well, let's just say it's not a part of the 4 wins. But he wasn't the only football thrower in this one to make a little history, as Jawan Jennings now has the best passer rating of any NFL player in the playoffs ever, with a minimum of 2 passing attempts. As in said Super Bowl that they lost, it was of no fault of Jawan's, who trick played it over to Christian McCaffrey, who took it the distance and in for the 21-yard score. And in this game, Jennings tossed a 29-yard beauty to the same target, who stretched out and caught it for the touchdown, earning himself a perfect playoff passer rating of 158.3, and is now the only player ever to do so, having thrown multiple career playoff passes, and now as many playoff touchdowns as Justin Herbert. Not bad for someone who, coming out of high school, was a higher rated QB than Sam Darnold, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. Seems like for once, they were right about that one. I'm joking, of course, but should I be? Next, we'll set our sights on the Bills of Buffalo, who took on the Jaguars on the road in Jacksonville. Buffalo, by winning this game, got their first road win in a playoff game since the 1992 AFC Championship game, when they defeated the Dan Marino-led Miami Dolphins. So if the Bills go on the road, Florida seems like the place to go. Also, Also, with their win, they became the first AFC wildcard team, and just to clarify, those being non-division winning teams to win a game in the postseason since 2020. And you know what? I'll give you 8 seconds to submit a guess in the comments on who that team is. And feel free to pause if you feel you need more time, because it's a toughie. You ready? Alright, go. Alright, it was the Cleveland Browns. Yep, of all teams, led by Baker Mayfield when they throttled the Pittsburgh Steelers in what was then known as Heinz Field. Talk about wild. The Bills, though, shaking and baking on Sunday, or rather Shakirin and Cookson, but the sentiment still stands. Khalil Shakir, who was targeted 12 times in this game, made all 12 catches. Yes, you heard that right. A 100% reception rate was recorded by a dude that was thrown to over 10 times against a defense who was second in turnovers this season. That 100% grab rate off of his 12 targets being the most catches in a playoff game, while also recording a 100% rate by any player ever. The man throwing him those 12 completions also throwing one to Frank Gore in this one. No, Junior. Yeah, there we go. Yes, Frank Gore Jr. getting a 6-yard catch, and with that, history was made, as Josh Allen is now the only quarterback to ever complete a pass to both a father and his son, and that's pretty special. But one other guy Allen was delivering to, the playoff mercenary himself, one Brandon Cooks, becoming the first player ever to have 50+ scrimmage yards in a playoff game for 4 different franchises, those being the Patriots, the Rams, the Cowboys, and now the Buffalo Bills. But beware, Buffalo, he's still never won the big one. But maybe that'll cancel out your own bad playoff luck as well.
This football team, Scott Norwood. He can fire the shot heard round the world now and win a Super Bowl. Waiting for the snap. Reich puts it down on the way. It's long enough. And it is good. It is good. The Bills have won a Super Bowl.
Bills fans can hope.
Buffalo all the way this time.
You know what we won't see though? The Steelers' win streak on Monday Night Football at home continue. Well, until they start a new one, that is, as their 34-year, 23-game win streak was just snapped by the surging Houston Texans, who, as the game was in Acrisure, got their first postseason road win since the year of their inception back in 2002. Yes, that was their first ever win on the road in the playoffs in their team's entire history, as short as it may be. And with that, someone whose professional career spans almost the same amount of time as that entire franchise's existence, Mike Tomlin, the man known for having a non-losing regular season record 19 years running, which is a record, but we already knew that, is now 8-12 in the playoffs. Eesh. Matching former AFC North foe Marvin Lewis for the most consecutive playoff losses, now with 7 in a row. Having now, as of writing and recording this, agreeing to step down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. The latter part of his career, as great as it ostensibly seemed to be, was one of consistency, but one that certainly staled over time. Him suffering from sufficiency, as they were just good enough to get by, but not really get anywhere else but goodbye for so long. It boasted a longevity known to the Pittsburgh Steelers brand, having had only 3 head coaches in the Super Bowl era. But you know what they say, longevity may be the goal, but somejevity is better than nojevity at all. And after 19 years, his jevity, although long, had run its course. And his Super Bowl winning career in Pittsburgh, one that predates the iPhone, now succumbing to said sufficiency. A great dude, a culture setter, and a very good leader of men. A guy with a certain way with words.
We're still squirreling those nuts.
You know how it is, if my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
All right.
which, if you know me, I do appreciate.
It's a fine line between, drinking wine and squashing grapes. As I stand here right now, we got smashed. And we got smashed as a collective today,
And I do look forward to seeing where he lands coming up after the end to his Pittsburgh tenure, as well as his one-off quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who, in a Steelers jersey on a pass to Adam Thielen, overtook Ben Roethlisberger for the third most passing yards in the playoffs all time. And that sentence, if said 5 years ago, would have fried your brain like an Elvis banana sandwich.
I had no idea how much Elvis loved football.
But unfortunately for him, although he now has the third most passing yards in playoff history, the last pass of his season, and possibly his career, who knows, is going to be a type of pass he threw the least amount of times, or at least very few, a pick six. Though, knowing him, he'll go somewhere and meet himself at this career crossroad and chat it up. Really bloviate, and he and himself will ultimately come to that decision. But I'm sure he'll keep us in the dark for as long as he can. Hey, maybe the Steelers hire Pittsburgh native Mike McCarthy, and they both run it back with the team they both beat to get their Super Bowl way back when.
never say never, but never.
I mean, you know what they say. If you beat them, join them. Wait, I don't think that's how that one goes. Oh well. And then, finally, we'll end with the only way we can, with their endings. Specifically, the Rams, Bills, and Bears. Now, we already covered how the Bears got their win, but the other two had some fascinating finishes too.
Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating.
As all three of these games came down to the absolute wire. The Bills, Bears, and Rams all getting wins in their opening playoff game by way of scoring a touchdown with under 2 minutes left remaining in the game. This being the first instance in NFL playoff history that this has occurred. The previous most being 2 in the same week, which happened 4 times in the postseasons of 1982, 2002, 2011, and 2023, and was actually only 55 seconds away from having a 4th game, as the San Francisco 49ers got what would be their game-winning touchdown score with 2:55 left on the clock. Out of those 3, though, the Rams will go on to face the Bears. And why that is notable is that game will be Sean McVay's 15th playoff game of his coaching career. And with that, his 15th different postseason opponent, having not yet coached against the same team twice in the playoffs. What? Going against 12, now about to be 13 different NFC teams and 2 AFC teams so far. And one last little fact for you, 4 of the 6 games played on Saturday and Sunday ended within a 5-point margin, which, you know the drill by now, is the most games in a week in postseason history. And that's wild. Alright, I think we can both agree that it's about time for me to shut the
Playoffs?
up. But if there's any history made this upcoming week, I'll be here to cover it. And hey, enjoy the divisional round, everybody. Hey, you know what else is wild? The fact that right now you can choose a great spot at nearly any event you want to attend when you use SeatGeek, a proud sponsor of SVTV and the world's best ticketing app and website. With their state-of-the-art seating chart, they play off of what you're wanting to help get you the best seat for the best deal. And to give you your own exciting finish in the checkout process, just use code SVTV for $20 off your first ticket purchase. And don't you miss out on watching something worth seeing anymore. Alright, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one, and peace out.
I'm not concerned about obscure stats like that at this juncture. Keep watching. Seriously.
I just hope we can win a game. Another game.